Hey everyone, it's Ivan, kitpatch.com, out here for another gear review, and today talking weapon lights. This one right here, which is the TLR-7 by Streamlight. What is it? What does it do? Well, it is a pistol light, and it is just that. It goes on a pistol. However, while Streamlight makes a ton of different lights, their whole TLR line, most of them are made for arguably larger frame pistols. Think something around the size of like a Glock 17 or something like that. So the TLR-7 is made for a more compact pistol. This right here being the Walther PDP F-Series with the 3.5-inch barrel. So what are some of the features? The light body is machined out of aluminum, then anodized either black. They also have a flat dark earth. And right here is the cross bolt, basically secure this thing onto the rail. Back here we have paddles, which are actually changeable if you want a lower or a higher one. And up front you can see this this little marking right there, maybe. And so if we move it in that direction, the light will not turn on. Basically a lockout feature. We move it back in that direction and the light will turn on. Also with that, there is a momentary and then let go, or click it for a constant on. As far as the battery is actually changed out the front. Unscrew that, shows you what direction the battery is going in this. That is actually nice. You don't, not that this is zeroed, but you don't have to actually remove it to replace the battery. Definitely a nice feature. And yeah, IPX7 rating, meaning basically you can submerge this thing for an hour and a half. Why you would, not really sure. I would not dive with it, but yeah, I'll go over a few other things. Some other things worth mentioning. Output. So it has 500 lumens, 5,000 candela, and a runtime of about an hour and a half. Something also worth mentioning is this being the TLR-7 Alpha, they actually have a new TLR-7X, which is rechargeable. Basically comes with Streamlight's own rechargeable battery. Everything is the same except for the output. Instead of 1.5 with the CR123, you're getting 1 hour output with their rechargeable battery. Honestly, still kind of a pretty good deal. Probably not going to use an hour straight of a weapon light, and it's rechargeable, so it saves you from buying batteries. Also, lifetime warranty, assembled here in the USA. So get into what has been my experience. How have I used it? I've been carrying this for quite a while now as a everyday carry in this holster right here by Carey Concealment. It's a couple carries in a row. But one thing worth mentioning is TLR-7 has kind of been a go-to for a lot of people for quite a while, because kind of the one game in town, and works well. Small format, so for smaller pistols it works out great. And the reason I mention that also is because if you have some random oddball light, finding a holster can be difficult, whereas this has been around for a while, known quantity, so pretty much all of your good known holster manufacturers will make a holster for it. As mentioned, carry this every day for quite some time on this setup right here. And as far as shooting with it, done some shooting at the range to include some runs through the shoot house. How has it done for me? Honestly, it has done a great job for its intended role. Everyday carry light where your realistic engagement distances are not very far. Does great inside the house. It's largely a flood. Again, relatively low candela, meaning it doesn't have a really tight focus beam, so it's not going as far. So yeah, inside a room, maybe 1 or 2 car lengths, does a good job. Does it go very far? According to the literature from Streamlight, it says the beam goes 140 meters. I feel like that's very generous. In my experience, no, it does not. But again, there is no free lunch. Everything is compromised and as designed as an everyday carry light for those typical engagement distances, it does a great job. What does this light look like at night? I will show you. Actually went out and, quick side note, in fairness to the Streamlight TLR-7, I ended up shooting it basically side by side with a Surefire XC1, which is their new compact pistol light. So you'll see those side by side, shooting I think at 10, 25, and 50, or looking at a target rather, at 10, 25, and 50 yards. Keep in mind, this person standing down there is, well, they have things in their hands. Maybe different things, maybe a weapon, maybe something pretty inert and not scary, but keep that in mind when you're watching this. Right here is the Streamlight TLR-7. And right here is the Surefire XC1. Here we are at 25 yards. This right here is the Streamlight TLR-7. And here's the Surefire XC1. Now back at 50 yards, right here is the TLR-7. And this right here is the Surefire XC1. What are my thoughts overall? Honestly, the output of that other light is much greater and arguably better. There's definitely more throw to it, and there's even kind of more flood to it. Does that matter? Really depends on application. I think this is a great serviceable light. That other one I just showed you is kind of the bleeding edge of things just coming out right now. But I had no other small compact lights to compare it to, and yeah, like, there it is. Also, something kind of an interesting takeaway, my buddy who was standing out there, Weston, on the other end of these lights. Here is his take on kind of that experience getting those pointed at him.
So the TLR-7A, no surprise, is a bit underwhelming outside of the first 10 yards that we shot this at. And the Surefire was, it felt like about twice as powerful from my perspective. Also, the Surefire's color of the light was a little bit more blinding to deal with. The TLR-7, I could almost see the frame that it was mounted to. I knew exactly where that light was coming from, whereas the Surefire was a little bit more disorienting.
So there you go for what it's worth. Thoughts overall? I think it's a good solid light. It has a good solid track record, pretty affordable. I want to say around 140 bucks. You can find links to it down below if you want to check it out. And having been around as long as it has, very easy to find a carry holster for this light, which is a pretty big deal if you plan on actually carrying it, because it doesn't matter how cool the light is if you can't find a holster for it. But like I said, it's done a good job for me. I do like a number of those features. One, you can lock that thing out, especially if this thing is going to go somewhere, travel, something like that. Won't accidentally get turned on. And the light is usable. Does not go super far, but it's a great beam for close work, which, if you're being realistic about your engagement distances, it's probably closer than further, especially at night and depending on what you're running, whether it's irons or a dot. So, like I said, it's done a great job for me. If you're interested, there'll be a link down below. You can check it out. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.
been looking for me in the most obvious places.